Hello, and welcome to this very first, very special edition of the Around the Ram Horn show, our new Valedictus show for Robinson. I'm your host, Matthew Lischblau, Valedictus sports editor, along with staff writers Nathaniel Robertson.
Hi.
Nate Walker.
Hello.
And special guest, Isaac Chambers. Today we're going to be debating a variety of major sports. Well, today, for this episode, we're going to stick to college football and the NFL respectively. So let's get into the rules. With this show, it's a point system, so whenever I hear an intelligent or compelling argument or point or statistic, just anything rather interesting among the panelists, I will award them a point. You'll hear this nice little Robinson Rams cowbell. I will tally up the points at the very end to see who advances to the next round. For our first cut, after our first cut, only 2 of these contestants will advance, and at the end we will crown a winner. So, let's get right into the debating. First, we're going to start off with college football. College football started rather recently. It's obviously always a hot topic. And our first topic within college football, we're going to have to discuss what is the most surprising player and team that each of you have watched throughout the season up to this point? If anybody wants to start.
Okay, I'll start. I think the most surprising player for me is quarterback Lamar Jackson for Louisville. He's leading the league with 18 total touchdowns. I think this kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of us. I certainly wasn't expecting him or his team, Louisville, to do very well at all. Louisville is undefeated. They just destroyed Florida State this past week, 63-20, I believe. And Florida State was just number 2, so it'll be very exciting to see Louisville play the rest of the season.
Well, I agree with what you said there. I'm not at all surprised that Louisville is any good, though, because, I mean, they produced Teddy Bridgewater, they produced just a bunch of good players in the recent times, they have a lot of good people in the NFL, and I'm not at all surprised that they're going to be in the contention for the playoffs. Now, I don't think anyone's surprised by this at all. I do think that the Heisman will go to Clemson.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Sorry. I think it's going to go to Deshaun Watson. That team is just too good. I think they're going to beat Louisville in the championship. And I don't think that Lamar Jackson's going to keep up what he's got going for him right now.
All right, interesting points. Nate, with your
I also concur with the rest of the panelists. Lamar Jackson is doing very well, scoring 5 touchdowns against the number 2 team in the nation at the time, Florida State, and 4 of those were rushing touchdowns. He also had 1 passing touchdown. Louisville also has 2 more tough games, Clemson and Houston, both away games. So those will be tougher challenges since Florida State was a home game. So. And then Clemson started off slowly, but they're starting to pick it up, and I believe they just beat Georgia Tech for the first time at home, on the road since 2003. I could be mistaken, but I'm fairly positive about that. And so, but if Lamar Jackson keeps it up, I think he'll be the Heisman for sure.
Very interesting points. All right, so now let's get into the debate, go against each other's claims, and make some rebuttals, if anybody wants to start.
I just want to bring something else up. Another top candidate is Christian McCaffrey, running back for Stanford. He broke the record in all-purpose yards last year. He's leading the league once again in all-purpose yards. The problem with him is I don't think a lot of analysts and reporters who vote on the Heisman are on the East Coast. And generally the Stanford games are around the 10:30 time, and so many people don't stay up that late to watch them. And so there's kind of a West Coast bias, or East Coast bias, that goes against them.
Well, let's take Stanford and go back to last year during the Rose Bowl. Okay. That Stanford's offense completely fell apart to Iowa's defense. Their overall offense could do nothing. Christian McCaffrey stepped up and ran all over the Iowa team, scoring like 12 touchdowns in that game. It wasn't even fair. That one player beat Iowa, not the team.
Christian McCaffrey is still doing very well this year. He currently leads the nation in all-purpose yards, and he's averaging 235 yards per game. Although Stanford still has a pretty tough season ahead of them, with away games at Washington and Oregon and Notre Dame, which will all be challenges for them. And then Deshaun Watson, like Isaac said earlier, he said he might win the Heisman, but I have to disagree with that because, they're going to be playing Louisville. They're going to be at home in Death Valley, but I mean, the way Louisville's been playing, it might be very tough for them. And then they're also playing Florida State on the road, and Florida State currently has the longest winning home win streak in the nation. So that's also going to be a very tough game for Clemson. But if they win, Deshaun Watson will surely be up there in the Heisman candidate.
All right, I want to take it back to Stanford again because Christian McCaffrey is kind of my dude. He's kind of my guy. But because
Wait, let me just interject. All right, this is going to be the last kind of 45 seconds, so wrap up and make any final rebuttals.
okay, so Christian McCaffrey, right? Are you guys aware of the Elite 11? It's a bunch of high school quarterbacks that are top in the nation that go on to get scholarships and be like the number 1 overall 5-star quarterback candidate for the NCAA, right? Christian McCaffrey's little brother took 4th in that competition in the Elite 11 to be the number 1 quarterback in the nation. His father played in the NFL.
His brother is also he's a free agent right now.
His brother's a free agent in the NFL. His grandfather was an Olympic runner. His mother was a star soccer player in Stanford.